Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Which was? Yes.
13 plus.
13. So Lord is speaking on the steady devotional service. The one who is steady in his devotional service, he attains unadulterated peace. Why? Because he offers everything to Krishna. He performs activities, but the fruits of the activities are offered to Krishna. Whereas a person who is not in union with Krishna, he is very greedy of his fruits, and that is how he becomes entangled. That was the previous verse. Now 13th verse, 5th chapter, 13th verse. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashim. Sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvatra karayan. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. Sarva karmani manasaha. By his mind, what he has done? He has renounced. Actually, the renunciation is at the level of the mind. The mind learns to control the senses and renounce sanyasyaste, renounce all the fruits of the actions, then sukham vashi. In this way, he is happy. Where? In the city, where there are 9 gates, Navadvare, 9 gates, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth. Here only 7 became. Genital anus, not umbilicus. Navadvare, sukham vashi. So in this way, he is very happy. Na evaha kurvan na karayan. In this way, neither he is working nor causing the work to be done. So he doesn't consider himself the doer. So whatever the activities is done, that is just done because it is the body which does and the soul has desired. But the soul is not desiring now the fruits. That is why he doesn't consider himself the doer, nor he considers himself the cause of the work which is done. The soul, we are talking about the soul now. We are not talking about the body now. The body becomes an instrument to do the work. But because he is not desiring the fruits of their action, he doesn't consider himself the doer, nor he considers himself the cause of any work which is done. Okay. So Aditya, read.
Mataji, sorry, which verse, Mataji, we are into?
13.
13th.
Who asked me this question? Anshul Bhatt. Okay. So 5.13. Aditya, read.
Hare Krishna. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. Translation. When the embodied living beings controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. Purport. The embodied soul lives in the city of 9 gates. The activities of the body or the figurative city of body are conducted automatically by its particular modes of nature. The soul, although subjecting himself to the conditions of the body, can be beyond those conditions if he so desires. Owing only to forgetfulness of his superior nature, he identifies with the material body and therefore suffers. By Krishna consciousness, he can revive his real position and thus come out of his embodiment. Therefore, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, one at once becomes completely aloof from bodily activities. In such a controlled life, in which his deliberations are changed, he lives happily within the city of 9 gates. The nine gates are mentioned as follows. Navadvare pure dehi hamso lelayate bahihi vasi vasi sarvasya lokasya sthavarasya charasya cha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is living within the body of a living entity, is the controller of all living entities all over the universe. The body consists of nine gates, two eyes, two nostrils, two ears, one mouth, the anus, and the genitals. The living entity in his conditioned stage identifies himself with the body, but when he identifies himself with the Lord within himself, he becomes just as free as the Lord, even while in the body. Shvetasvatra Upanishad 3.80. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is free from both the outer and inner activities of the material body. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So, but when he identifies himself with the Lord within himself, he becomes just as free as the Lord while in the body. So, how is he identifying himself with the Lord? He knows the Lord is a master, I am just the servant. My work is just to serve Lord. So he doesn't consider himself the doer, nor he doesn't consider himself the cause of doing any work, nor the cause of or the desire to take the fruits. 14th verse. Na kartatvam na karmani lokasya sujati prabhu na karma phala samyogam स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफल संयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि. He doesn't consider himself the proprietor. The soul is not the proprietor. Nor na karmani lokasya. Neither the embodied soul can induce anybody to act. Sujati Prabhu. Prabhu is here the soul, the master of the city of the body. Na karma phala samyogam. Neither he creates the fruit of action. So how it is happening? Because of the modes of material nature. What induces a person to work? It is the modes. These modes we are acquiring from previous lifetimes. These modes forces a person to work. So it is not the soul which is working. The soul can never induce anybody to work, nor the soul can create anything, create an activity, nor it can create the fruits of the activity. So what is covering? It is the modes of material nature. Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun. Anybody is doing an activity, understand it is the modes which is forcing a person to do it. It can be good activity, it can be a bad activity. So whatever activity, it can be a passionate activity, tamas activity, satoguna activity. So we should always understand it is not the soul. Soul is always pure. That is why one has to identify oneself with the Lord. That means understand his constitutional position as servant of Lord. Then the modes will be used. The modes will not entangle a person. There's a lot of difference. Because to perform an activity, you require modes. Once Prabhupada told his students, his disciples, go and distribute the books. They went and distributed and came in 1 hour. Prabhupada told in 1 hour, you sold all the books? No, Prabhupada, you told that distribute and come. Prabhupada told, this is the way we are going to run the ashram. When I say distribute the books, that means you should take some donations. In those days, they used to not sell the books. They used to give the books and take some donation. Some used to give this dollars, that dollar. They used not fix the price because they cannot sell the books. The Prabhupada said, for that passion is required. Use the passion. So to collect the funds also, you require that passion. Yes, today I'll do fundraising. So that fundraising requires passion. Morning early hours, I have to sit and chant. It requires satoguna. Night, I should sleep. body should take some rest. So the devotee can use tamas. Now somebody is entangled because we are just sadhakas. We are not at that higher level. So we are influenced by the three modes of material nature. So a person goes on sleeping, even though he has taken up devotional service, not able to wake up. But if he starts identifying himself with the Lord, that means identifying himself as a servant of Lord, then the influence of the three modes will reduce. In fact, he starts using the three modes for the service of Lord. You understand one thing, you are not having a dustbin to put all the three modes, neither you have to do that. You have to use the three modes. Like yesterday's Bhagavatam class, Vaibhav class, we were discussing. The verse goes like this, where it is very clearly said, Lord, for his creation purpose, maintenance purpose, destruction purpose, accepts the three modes and appears as Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. So Lord accepts. Lord is not influenced. Lord is para. Para means what? He is beyond. In the same way, the soul is also beyond. But what happened? Because the soul started identifying paropi manute anartham, started identifying with the body, with the matter, that is why God influenced. But starts identifying with Krishna as servant of Krishna, then he will not be influenced, but he will start using the same modes for creation, for creating something, for maintaining, for taking rest. So all this. Okay. Saurabh Prabhu, wait.
न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभु न कर्म फल संयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. The living entity, as will be explained in the 7th chapter, is one of the energies or natures of the Supreme Lord, but is distinct from matter, which is another nature called inferior of the Lord. Somehow, the superior nature, the living entity, has been in contact with material nature which since time immemorial. The temporary body or material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant reactions. Living in such a conditional atmosphere, one suffers the results of the activities of the body by identifying himself in ignorance with the body. It is ignorance acquired from time immemorial that is the cause of bodily suffering and distress. As soon as living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from the reactions as well. As long as he is in the city of the body, he appears to be the master of it, but actually he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its actions and reactions. He is simply in the midst of the material ocean, struggling for existence. The waves of the ocean are tossing him, and he has no control over them. His best solution is to get out of the water by transcendental Krishna consciousness. That alone will save him from all turmoil.
That will save him from all turmoil. Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukrutam vibhuh ajnanena vratam jnanam tena bhuyanti jantavah. Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukrutam vibhuh ajnanena vratam jnanam tena bhuyanti jantavah. Now, Lord also, what he does, na adate, he doesn't accept anyone's sin. Na eva sukrutam vibhuh. Vibhuh means Lord. He is not accepting anyone's pious activities. Ajnanena avratam. His embodied soul he is covered, his knowledge is covered by ignorance. That is why he is bewildered. Lord is not taking anyone's sins, nor Lord is interested in anyone's pious activities. Why an embodied soul is bewildered? Why is he doing all these sinful activities or pious activities? Because his real knowledge is covered by ignorance. And what is the meaning of ignorance? Forgetfulness of one's constitutional position. Simple. Ignorance means darkness. In darkness, you are not able to identify yourself also. You are not able to see yourself. So in darkness, he is not able to see that he is servant of Lord. And because of that, he is too engrossed in either sinful activity or pious activity. You see, people, they do either good activity or they'll do bad activity. They'll try to be very good in society. That is known as pious activity. Even this pious activity is also considered as ignorance only. But Krishna is not interested in both the things. Neither is interested in sinful activity. That is why he's not accepting. He's rejecting. Even the pious activities are rejected by Krishna. So what is accepted by Krishna? He accepts divinity. He accepts a person to be divine. He is not accepting a person. He is not accepting some good person. He is accepting a divine person. So what is the qualification to go back, come back to Godhead? It is Vishuddha Sattvam. Vishesha Rupena Shuddha. It is not just Sattva Guna. Vishuddha Sattvam. Completely purest Sattvam. Pure goodness. This pure goodness is beyond material goodness. Material goodness hankers for performing pious activity. The result is upper planetary system. But Krishna is not accepting. Neither is accepting anyone's sinful or anyone's pious activity. Sometimes we say, oh, he has done something good. That is why he has got devotional service. No. Devotional service is not dependent on your good activity. In someone may be very good person, need not be divine. Divinity is completely based on mercy of the devotees or unknowingly performed a devotion to Krishna. We don't know how. Unknowingly did a service to some Mahatma. Mahatma means saintly people. That is why Adau Shraddha it starts. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives 14 stages of devotional service, not just 9, 14 stages of devotional service. He says 14 stages of devotional service, where clearly he mentions the first 2, because of which a person gets Shraddha. The first 2 is mercy and service to the devotees. Mercy of the devotees, service to the devotees. Like you just removed some stones which was on the path and you don't know there was a great saint who passed through that. Unknowingly got Sukruti, that is known as Sukruti. It is not called good activity. Good means acha, bura. It is something known as Sukruti. Because of that, you have got some plus points to take up devotional service. So once somebody asked to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, did we do so much of Sukruti? Prabhupada said, no, I gave you mercy. Very clear. Prabhupada said, I gave you mercy, okay? It is because of my mercy you're doing devotional service. True. So, yeah. Jai Shri.
Hare Krishna. Na datte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhu ajnanena vritam jnanam tena muyyanti jantavaha. Translation. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities embodied being however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. The Sanskrit word Vibhu means the Supreme Lord, who is full of unlimited knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation. He is always satisfied in himself, undistributed by sinful or pious activities. He does not create the particular situation for any living entity, but the living entity, bewildered by ignorance, desires to be put into certain conditions of life, and thereby his chain of action and reaction begins. A living entity is by superior nature full of knowledge. Nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by ignorance due to his limited power. The Lord is omnipotent, but the living entity is not. The Lord is Vibhu or omniscient, but the living entity is Anu or atomic. Because he is the living soul, he has the capacity to desire by his free will. Such desire is fulfilled only by omnipotent Lord, and so when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. But the Lord is never responsible for the actions and reactions of the particular situation. Which may be
Read.
desired being in a bewildered condition. Therefore, the embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body and becomes subjected to the temporary misery and happiness of life. The Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as Paramatma or the Supreme Soul, and therefore he can understand the desires of the individual soul as one can smell the flavor of a flower by being near it. Desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. The Lord fulfills his desire as he deserves. Man proposes and God disposes. The individual is not, therefore, omnipotent in fulfilling his desires. The Lord, however, can fulfill all desires, and the Lord, being neutral to everyone, does not interfere with the desires of the independent living entities. However, when one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care and encourages one to desire in such a way that one can attain to him and be eternally happy. The Vedic hymns therefore declare
Eshau Yaveva Sadhu Karma Karyatītam Yam Ebhyo Lokebhya Unni Nishite Eshau Eva Sadhu Karma Karyati Yam Adho Ninishate.
the Lord engages the living entity in pious activities so that he may be elevated. The Lord engages him in impious activities so that he may go to hell.
Adho Ninishate. Adho means going down. Adho Ninishate. So, Eshau Yeva Sadhu Karma Karyati. He only induces. Perform. Perform pious activities. Bhakti is not given to everyone. Bhakti is only given by a bhakta. Even Krishna doesn't give. Krishna makes a devotee give. That is why he appears in the devotee form. Krishna directly doesn't give bhakti. It's Radharani who gives bhakti. That is why Krishna takes the mood of Srimati Radharani and appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Krishna is inducing what? A living entity, because he knows the desire of the living entity. The desire is not for attaining Krishna. Desire is to go to heavenly planets. And desire is to perform all miscreant activities. So, Eshu eva sadhu karma karyati yam adho ninishate. Adho means going in the hellish planets. Agyo jantur anishoyam atmanaha sukha dukkhayoho ishvaro prerito gachet swargam vashvabhram evacha. So read.
The living entity is completely dependent in his desires and happiness. By the will of the Supreme, he can go to heaven or hell, as a cloud is driven by the air. Therefore, the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire of avoid Krishna consciousness, causes his own bewilderment. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful, and cognizant, due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by the omniscience. And under the spell of ignorance, the living entity claims that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence. The Vedanta Sutras 2.134 also confirm this.
Vaishamya nairghrunyena sapekshatvat tata hi darshayati. So Lord neither hates nor likes anyone, although he appears to. He's very neutral. He neither hates anyone nor likes anyone. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. Vinaya is going to come. But regarding devotees, Krishna says, I consider them as mine. And then somebody can say, he's very partial to the devotees. Yes. But still he's samoham. Devotees want him, that is why he's with the devotees. Others don't want him, others want everything except Krishna. That is why Lord gives all the planetary systems whatever they want. Like Duryodhana wanted Narayani Sena. Duryodhana did not want Krishna. So whoever wants Krishna, Krishna is available. Whoever wants the opulence of Krishna, Krishna says 14 planetary systems are there. Upper, lower, wherever you want to go, you can go. In here, that is also opulence of Krishna only. Nothing is separate from Krishna. Even if a person is going to the upper planetary system in this material world also belongs to Krishna only. That is why a devotee is not afraid to go to hell. Haridas Thakur says that if I am able to give Harinam to everyone, and if I can go to hell, it doesn't matter. Sripad Ramanujacharya gave Ashtakshara mantra to everyone, in spite of knowing that if he gives to others, he's going to go to hell. But still, he said, it doesn't matter. So for a devotee, it doesn't matter whether he goes to spiritual world or any of the upper planetary system or lower planetary system, because his work is only one thing. What is that? Preaching Krishna consciousness to others and chanting and making others chant. Simple. So a devotee doesn't see anything separate from Krishna. The moment you see something separate from Krishna, that is Maya. So what is the simple meaning of Maya? You see something separate from Krishna. So somebody asks, where is spiritual world? People look up. Is it not down? Is it not nearby? Spiritual world is not far. It's near. We are not able to see because our eyes are not anointed with prema. Prema, Anjana, Chunta, Bhakti, Vilochana. That Bhakti is still not there. That is why very spiritual world, immediately we have to look up. Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitamatmanah tesham adityavaj jnanam prakashayati tatparam. Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitamatmanah tesham adityavaj jnanam prakashayati tatparam. Jnanena tu tadajnanam nashitam. If a person is in knowledge, then ajnanam is automatically destroyed. You hold a lamp, darkness is gone. The moment you light a lamp in a very dark room, then you don't care to ask, since how many years this was dark? It must have been dark for decades, more than a decade. But the moment you light a lamp, you don't bother to ask how many years was it dark. In the same way, how many lifetimes we were in ignorance, we don't know. The moment knowledge enters, darkness is gone. Tesham aditya vajnanam. It is like the rising sun. You have the morning sun, automatically the night darkness vanishes. So it's like the darkness, it is like the rising sun, like how the rising sun lights up everything in the daytime. The same way, Jnanam Prakashayati Tatparam. So this knowledge discloses Tatparam. Tat, Lord. Param, who is beyond. So this knowledge rises the consciousness of a person in devotion. That is Krishna consciousness. So what is Krishna consciousness? Once it so happened, I got down from the car to receive one of the very great personality of ISKCON, is Atmatattva Prabhu, because of whom today we have Sthanu Narsimha in Mayapur. He only did all the design work, everything, the drawing work, and was instrumental in bringing Mayapur Narsimha. Such a very great personality. So I went to receive him. Myself and my Shiksha Guru were there, Kamalushan Prabhuji, we were in the car. So we went to receive. So then what happened was, I just got down and I went like this, anti-clockwise. Then he told me, get down, go clockwise and sit in the car. I said, in this traffic, what is this anti-clockwise and clockwise? I thought, what happened? Why is he telling me like this? Then he told her, every activity, if done with the consciousness that I'm servant of Krishna and everything is utilized in Krishna's service, and that is Krishna consciousness. Because he said this car is car for temple purpose, it becomes a ratha. So how you circumambulate the ratha? You don't sit from any direction. How you circumambulate? Clockwise, huh? So the time he told me a nice word, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrika Vidhi Vina Ekantika Harer Bhaktir Utpate Vahi Kevala. Whatever activity we are doing, we should be very conscious. Shruti Smriti, like one should not be very negligent in taking anything related to Krishna. Like you get a wonderful prasad, you just keep it aside and take afterwards. What you have done? You have insulted the mercy of Krishna. You should be very careful in dealing with the things related to Krishna. When prasad is given, honor it. In this, there is a nice example. Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Somebody, he just got up. Somebody came. This Krishna Prasad, Jagannath Prasad. He just woke up that time. Just took and honored it. He didn't say, I have to take bath, I have to wash my mouth. Nothing. See, prasadam is Krishna's mercy. Never make it wait. Somebody gives you prasadam in plate, you should hanker. It is not food. It is not food. Come out of that consciousness. Oh, I am not hungry. You are not hungry for mercy of Krishna? So, when you see prasadam has come, you should be greedy to take it. What is the meaning of greed? Hanker. Be like a beggar. Yachakaha. It's a very important thing. And devotees generally become very complacent just because kanti is there, tilak is there, and the hand has gone inside the beads. How much attentively we are chanting, that is immaterial. But any hands are going inside the beads now. Whole time I'm doing something mechanical chanting. But we cannot be complacent on the name of devotion. Every activity, whenever any activity, name an activity, we should be very careful, especially to the things which is related to Krishna. Like when you enter the temple, you not just enter like this. When you enter the temple, the first thing what you do is, you first pay obeisances at the gate and you're asking the permission to the local residents, to the authorities, to Devi Devatas, You say Devi Devatas, from where they have come? All the demigods are residing near Krishna. Wherever Krishna is there, everybody is residing there. So naturally, you are asking permission of everyone. And that is how first you go to Prabhupada. And Garuda Stamba is there, then first Garuda Stamba, then Prabhupada, asking the permission, asking the qualification to take darshan. Anything related to Krishna. Sometimes you see people just banging mridanga for no reason. Sometimes they go dham, they'll play and go. Cannot do that. Because again, mridanga is expansion of Balaram. We sometimes lean on the railings to click the photos. Now see, have we asked the permission of the pujari over there? Can I click? Actually, in many of the temples, they write no photos. No, why they write? Like you are standing and somebody clicks, then what happens? You're disturbed. We are disturbing Krishna by clicking photo. So even if we want to click, first we have to ask permission. Oh Lord, can I? The Lord doesn't say no. But this is our humbleness. And some people are most intolerable. They will stand and take selfie with Lord. The most stupid, intolerable people. Sometimes I have to scream while I'm taking the class, please don't do this. Because we are just jivas. Malamutra Sharira. How can we take selfie with Lord? Just tell. So we have to be very careful in every dealings. Then that is known as Jnanam. Jnanam means Tadiya Vastu. Whatever things related to Krishna. Leaning on the railings. So it is expansion of Balaram. If you are not able to stand, better sit. But don't lean. Better sit and take darshan. No problem. Don't lean. Because it's a sweat sharira. And that's all expansion of Krishna. So you should be very, very careful in dealings with the Krishna Prasadam, with everything related to Krishna. And that is Krishna consciousness. That is why Tat Param. Prakashayati Tat Param. This illuminates our consciousness. So what is Krishna consciousness? Be conscious that you are a servant of Krishna. You are not the master. So you are a beggar. Simple. Beggar for begging the mercy of Krishna. And Krishna's mercy flows in various ways. Just accept as a beggar. That, oh Lord, I am not qualified, but still, oh Lord, you are giving me. And express the gratitude. Express it. This is known as Tatparam. Prakashayati Tatparam. Sometimes you feel, oh, I am in ISKCON, I am Krishna conscious. There is again a wrong understanding. I am in ISKCON, I have got a chance to be Krishna conscious. It is an opportunity to become Krishna conscious. Okay. Gita, read.
Hare Krishna. Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashidamaatmanah tesham adityavajnanam prakashayati tatparam. Translation. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals nescience is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. Purpose. Those who have forgotten Krishna must certainly be bewildered, but those who are in Krishna conscious are not bewildered at all. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvam Jnana Plavena Jnanagni Sarva Karmani and Nahi Jnanena Sadrisham. Knowledge is always highly esteemed. And what is that knowledge? Perfect knowledge is achieved when one surrenders unto Krishna. As is said it in the 7th chapter, 19th verse, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan
Jnanavan mam prapadyate.
Mam Prabhadyade. After passing through many births, when one perfect in knowledge surrenders unto Krishna, or when one attains Krishna consciousness, then everything is revealed to him as everything is revealed by the sun in the daytime. The living entity is bewildered in so many ways. For instance, when he unceremoniously thinks himself God, he actually falls into the last snare of nescience. If a living entity is God, then how can he become bewildered by nescience? Does God become bewildered by nescience? If so, then nescience or Satan is greater than God. Real knowledge can be obtained from a person who is in perfect Krishna consciousness. Therefore, one has to seek out such a bona fide spiritual master and under him learn what Krishna consciousness is, for Krishna consciousness will certainly drive away all nescience. As the sun drives away darkness, even though a person may be in full knowledge that he is not the body, but is transcendental to the body, he still may not be able to discriminate between the soul and the supersoul. However, he can know everything well if he cares to take shelter of the perfect bona fide Krishna conscious spiritual master. One can know God and one's relationship with God only when one actually meets a representative of God. A representative of God never claims that he is God, although he is paid all the respect ordinarily paid to God because he has knowledge of God. One has to learn the distinction between God and the living entity. Lord Sri Krishna therefore stated in the second chapter 2.12 that every living being is individual and that the Lord also is individual. They were all individuals in the past. They are individuals at present, and they will continue to be individuals in the future, even after liberation. At night, we see everything as one in the darkness, but in day, when the sun is up, we see everything in its real identity with individually in spiritual life is real knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So what is self-realization? Realizing that one is servant of Krishna. That is self-realization. Okay. Tad buddhayas tadatmanas tannishthas tatparayanaha gacchantya punaravritti jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Tad buddhayas tadatmanas tannishthas tatparayanaha gacchantya punaravritti jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Tad buddhayas tat means Lord. No? Tat sat iti. Is it? Tat sat. Tat sat. So tat is what? Lord. So the intelligence is in Lord. Tadatmanam. The mind is always in Lord. Tannishtha. His faith is in Lord. Tat parayanaha. He has completely taken shelter of Lord. Then gachanti apunaha avritim. So in this way, it is very easy to proceed in the path of liberation. Gachanti apunaha avritim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Because of knowledge, all his misgivings, kalmashaha or sins are cleansed. All his sins are cleansed, and this is the way to attain liberation. So what is the meaning of liberation? Mukti hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. So what is the swarupa? Jivera swarupa hoy Krishnera nityadas. So real meaning of liberation is understanding one's own constitutional position. When it can happen? Only when the intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge is fixed on the Lord, then through this knowledge, all his misgivings or confusions are completely removed. And thus he can proceed on the path of liberation. Okay, Shilpa Narvekar. Read. Tadatmanas, tannishthas, tatparayanaha. Tadatmanas. Don't read tad atmanaha. Tadatmanaha.
तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणः गच्छन्ति अपुनरावृत्तिं ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. Purport. The supreme transcendental truth is Lord Krishna. The whole Bhagavad Gita centers around the declaration that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That is the version of all Vedic literature. Paratattva means the supreme reality who is understood by the knowers of the supreme as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Bhagavan, or the supreme personality of Godhead, is the last word in the absolute. There is nothing more than that. The Lord says, Mataha Parattaram Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. Impersonal Brahman is also supported by Krishna. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Therefore, in all ways, Krishna is the supreme reality. One whose mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge are always in Krishna, or in other words, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness, is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings and is in perfect knowledge in everything concerning transcendence. A Krishna conscious person can thoroughly understand that there is a duality, simultaneous identity, and individuality in Krishna, and equipped with such transcendental knowledge, one can make steady progress on the path of liberation. Hare Krishna.
So, mattaha parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. There is no truth superior than me, Krishna says. Then, this impersonal Brahman. What is the impersonal Brahman? Whatever you see things around, Jada Brahman. Everything actually, Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtham. Everything is belonging to me only. And very clearly, Krishna says that Krishna is the supreme reality. And Krishna is present everywhere. There is not a place where Krishna is not present. That is how Hiranyakashipu is asking, is your Lord there in the pillar? And Prahlad Maharaj says, yes, he is there. So in this way, he sees everything. So that is why all the misgivings, all the confusions are removed because of the complete knowledge. Now a person is enlightened. Then how we should understand he is enlightened? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shopakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. How will you understand that he is enlightened? He is a self-realized soul. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. He is very gentle. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shopakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. So, an enlightened person is Samadarshinaha. He sees with equal vision. Whom he is seeing with equal vision? He is seeing a Brahmana, a Gavi. Gavi means a cow, an elephant, Shuni, that means dog, Shopaka, a dog eater, with an equal vision. So that doesn't mean that you call dogs and make them sit in the satsang program. Will you do that? Equal vision refers to seeing Paramatma in everyone's heart. That is why you're not cruel to anyone, but you know what type of treatment has to be given. Dogs are not kept at home. It's the most wrong thing a person does, because dog is the most lusty animal. If a jiva is entangled in this lust, he gets the body of the dog, which Bhagavatam speaks about it. That is why you feel that he's coming and kissing you or whatever it is, loving you, loving the master. No, it is actually satisfying the lust. Dogs are never kept at home. Dogs should not be even touched also. At the same time, you cannot be cruel to the dog. You can give some prasadam. You cannot be cruel to the dog. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he delivered a dog, Shivanand Sen's dog. We have it in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's a dog who was walking along with Shivanand Sen when he was taking some group of devotees to Jagannath Puri. So this dog also went. And Shivanand Sen provided a special seat for the dog. And to such an extent, when the devotees crossed the octroi, take the octroi, what you take. So there they crossed and they went and all took rest, ate and everything. So Shivanand Sen first came and asked, did the dog eat something? They said, we did not even think about the dog. He searched and he found that dog sitting near Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving the dog some that soft coconut. And then the dog chanted Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and left for the word of Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can do. We cannot do. So that is why it has been very clearly said, you have to see with an equal vision that Paramatma is residing in everyone's heart, even in the dog eater's heart, a Brahmana's heart, a cow's heart, a Hastini's heart. But that doesn't mean that you are treating everybody in an equal way. Everybody are getting different type of treatment, but with compassion. Everybody gets a different treatment, but with compassion. No hatred towards anyone. Okay? So, Anshul Bhatt, Prabhu, please read.
जी विद्या विनय संपन्ने ब्राह्मणे गवि हस्तिनि श्रुनि चैव श्रपाके च पंडिताः समदर्शिनः. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Purport: a Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species or caste. The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, and an elephant may be different from the point of view of species, but these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme for the Supreme Lord. By his plenary portion as a Paramatma is present in everyone's heart, such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned, in different castes or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend, yet maintains himself as a Paramatma, regardless of the circumstances of the living entities. The Lord as Paramatma is present both in the outcast and in the Brahmana. Although the body of Brahmana and that of an outcast are not the same, the bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature. But the soul and the super soul within the body are the same spiritual qualities. The similarity in the quality of the soul and the super soul, however, does not make them equal in quantity. For the individual, soul is present only in that particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. A Krishna conscious person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristics of the soul and super soul are that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within the limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas the super soul is conscious of all the bodies. The super soul is present in all bodies without distinction.
Okay. इहैतेर्जितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गो इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थितः तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः इह in this life jitah sargah we can conquer birth and death, but when samyehe sthitam manah, so mind is in equanimity. Equanimity with what? Situations. Sometimes sukha, sometimes dukha. Mind is peaceful in sometimes success, sometimes failure. Equanimity. Nirdosham. So flawless. Nirdosham. How? Like Brahman. Like Brahma. That is like the Supreme. And Tasmad Brahmani te stitaha. In this way, he is always situated in Brahman, in spirituality. When you say Brahman, you immediately understand. That means one is always situated in equality. One is always situated in Supreme or in divinity. When he sees everybody equal, or he is established in the equanimity. That means in all the conditions, in all the situations, he is only doing one task. What is that? Serving Krishna. So he has neither hatred towards anyone, nor has any affinity towards anyone. He just uses everybody in Krishna's service. That is the only purpose. There is no personal any attachment, nor any hatred. So Krishna also has no hatred, no attachment. In the same way, devotees also, pure devotees, they are not having any attachment, nor having any dejection or hatred towards anyone. So only this type of people whose mind is in equanimity and sameness, that person can surpass this birth and death cycle and is flawless, nirdosham. There is no dosha at all. And thus he is always in spirituality, that is Brahman. Okay, Pushpa, read.
इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थितः. Those whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity have already conquered the conditions of birth and death. They are flawless like Brahman, and thus they are already situated in Brahman. Equanimity of mind, as mentioned above, is the sign of self-realization. Those who have actually attained to such a stage should be considered to have conquered material conditions, specifically birth and death. As long as one identifies with this body, he is considered a conditioned soul. But as soon as he is elevated to the stage of equanimity through realization of self, he is liberated from conditional life. In other words, he is no longer subject to take birth in the material world, but can enter into the spiritual sky after his death. The Lord is flawless because he is without attraction or hatred. Similarly, when a living entity is without attraction or hatred, he also becomes flawless and eligible to enter into the spiritual sky. Such persons are to be considered already liberated, and their symptoms are described below. Hare Krishna.
So those symptoms we'll do in the next class.
Okay.
Okay. So any questions you can ask.
Hare Krishna Mataji, you mentioned about those 12 stages that were of devotional service that was being Narottam Das Chakravarti Thakur. I think that.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Yeah, so if you
So
can
first two
give
is
us
mercy of the devotee, service to the devotees. Then you have Adav Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. And then again, the Bhajana Kriya has been divided into two. What is Bhajana Kriya? Hearing.
Maharaj,
And hearing. And then comes Bhakti. That means performing devotional service. After you hear, what you should do? You should practice also, no? Hearing and practicing. And then comes Anartha Nivritti. And then comes Nishtha. Then comes Asakti, Ruchi, Bhava, Prema, and then next two. Seeing the Lord, experiencing the Lord. So in this way, 9 plus 5, 14. The Anartha Nivritti is divided into two. Hearing and practicing. Sorry, Bhajana Kriya is divided into two. Hearing and practicing. Got it? Initially two. Last again two. Mercy, service. And last two is what? After Prema, what is happening? You're seeing the Lord, experiencing the Lord. So that is how that 9 stages of devotional service is practically divided into 14 stages of devotional service according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. How did a person get Shraddha? Even to get Shraddha also you require mercy. Okay, somebody told you, yes, satsang program is there. Why did you have that faith? Though it is Komala faith. But you had a faith, na? That is why you came. And that faith is also because of mercy and service. Unknowingly, you did some service. Knowingly or unknowingly. Okay. Any other doubt?
Yeah, one more question, Mataji. In 10th verse, Lord Krishna addresses himself as a third person. So the translation says that one who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the result unto the Supreme Lord. So why? How do we understand?
He did not say to me,
Yeah.
the Supreme Lord. But he will say that Supreme Lord is me only. The upcoming chapter. That is how Krishna confuses, no? Because Krishna knows Bhagavad Gita will be read by Mayavadis also. It's not so easy to get Lord. That is why he speaks like a, talking like a third person. Isn't it?
Thank you, Mataji.
Afterwards, he will speak like a first person. Manmana bhavamaktatto madhyaji mam sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vaja. There chupchap he says mam. Why he is not saying in the beginning? Initially to confuse people. Okay. Stop here. Any doubt?
Why Lord has spoken that he only gave jivas to hell or in uh, heaven, but he wants that jiva to come in the with him, means he wants this jiva, मतलब उनको भगवान को उत्सुक होते ना आने के लिए उनके पास, तो वो क्यों जा उनको ये नर्क या फिर स्वर्ग में
वो
भेजना?
उत्सुक नहीं है ना, भगवान उत्सुक है, लेकिन जीवात्मा उत्सुक नहीं है ना. जीवात्मा को तो बस अपनी इच्छा को पूर्ति करना है. He just wants to, Lord knows the desire. Na? If you have desire to go back, come back to Godhead, Krishna is willingly eager to give. But if Jivatma doesn't want, then Lord is giving. Jivatma should take. Jivatma will make the mercy wait then. Hey, Lord gives Krishna Prasad. Lord is giving Prasadam. A person says, no, I don't want to eat. Whose mistake it is? Jivatma's mistake only. Na? He wants to give. He wants everybody to come back to Godhead. But then, Jivatma doesn't want. Okay? Is it clear? वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। वैष्णववृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।